Worldwide, people spend an average of 2 hours and 23 minutes a day on social media in 2019. There were 3.48 billion people using social media in 2019 and over 3.6 billion social media users this year. Many people go back and forth on whether social media is a help or a hurt, as there are many benefits but also many disadvantages of its usage. Social media spreads information faster than any other media. Reuters Institute Digital News Report says that social media sites are one of the top news sources for 46% of Americans, compared to 66% for television, 26% for printed newspapers, and 23% for radio. Social media users have been responsible for reporting events before traditional media outlets, including the Paris attacks in France and the Ebola outbreak. On the other end of the spectrum, social media can also spread false and unreliable information. AmericanPressInstitute.org states that 64% of people who use Twitter for news say that they have encountered something that they later discovered wasn't true, and 16% of Twitter news users say that they had retweeted or posted a tweet that they later discovered to be false. As well as news being able to be spread faster, law enforcement uses social media to catch and prosecute criminals. A survey by the International Association of Chiefs of Police found that 85% of police departments use social media to solve crimes. Police departments have added Twitter tracking units and use social media networking to arrest criminals who have bragged of their crimes online. Social media can also lack privacy. According to the Facebook Government Request Report, the U.S. government submitted 36,812 requests for data from Facebook and 7,036 requests from Twitter in 2015, and approximately 80% of which were honored at least in part. Social media sites can also help students do better in school. The National School Board Association says that 59% of students with access to the internet report that they use social media to discuss educational topics. 50% use the sites to talk about school assignments. Social media can also cause distraction instead of a help. Common Sense Media states that 31% of students using social media during homework reduces the quality of their work. An article about Facebook and academic performance says that students who use social media while studying scored 20% lower on tests and had an average GPA of 3.06, while non-users had an average GPA of 3.82. Another con to this is that social media can lead to stress and offline relationship problems. A 2016 study found that overuse of social media as an adolescent may decrease success in relationships later in life, as online communication hinders the development of conflict management skills and awareness of interpersonal social cues. PEWinternet.org found that 31% of teens have fought with a friend because of something that happened online, but also shows that social media can also improve relationships and allow for new relationships, as well as saying that 93% of adults on Facebook use it to connect with family members, 91% use it to connect with current friends, and 87% use it to connect with friends from the past, and that 57% of teens have made new friends online. We have all heard that social media allows cyberbullying. StatisticBrain.com says that 52% of students have reported being victim of cyberbullying, with 84.2% naming Facebook as a site through which they have been bullied, followed by Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. CNN.com said a study done this year showed that 39% of cyberbully victims and 29% of cyberbullies showed signs of PTSD. DLMcentral.net counters this argument, showing that social media can enable social change, telling the story of how social media popularized 9-year-old Scottish student Martha Payne and her blog Never Seconds, which exposed the state of her school's lunch program, prompting international attention and resulting in changes to her school and the formations of Friends of Never Seconds charity to feed children globally. One final pro and con to this argument is how it can help college recruitment, but also hurt when it comes to college admission. An article done in 2014 showed that 96.6% of 4U institutions use Facebook to recruit students. 83.4% use Twitter, and 79.3% use YouTube, giving student athletes a better shot at being seen. When it comes to college admission, a 2018 Kaplan test prep survey found that 25% of college admission officers checked applicants' social media to learn more about them. 42% of these admissions officers discovered that information that had a negative impact on prospective students' admission changes. Social media has its pros and its cons, but it is ultimately up to you on whether you want to use it or not.